If you all have been keeping up with the gacha gaming space, December 1st, 2024 could have been considered one of the worst days in gacha gaming. There were a lot of crash outs from a couple of different content creators. We're not necessarily going to get into that, just know that it happened. But coupled with those crash outs was perhaps the biggest blow for a lot of different communities. And that is the fact that the GachaRevenue.com website has officially ended its service. It looks like according to this post over here, it looks like the Gacha Revenue site is gone, and it now redirects to SensorTower. 07, no more PvP. Monthly PvP gets end of service. Who would have thought? When we think about gacha PvP, when we think about what these reports typically have, led to across the community, it hasn't been a lot of good stuff. The easiest way for us to kind of get through this, right, is to simply just take a look at what was in the prior revenue reports, right? There are a lot of them, right? We'll even go back to January, right? Before Wuthering Waves even came out. And we can see exactly the types of discussions, we can see exactly the type of conversations that were spawned by these reports. And so I think the most recent one is going to be a great one to look at. It'd be pretty interesting to see if we could have the console revenue included, blah, blah, blah. And to address the elephant in the room, because I know it'll be talked about, if you're sick of all the trash talk about Wuthering Waves, you only need to look at the media aspect of the game. This is a really funny post. This is a really funny post. As a little thought experiment, I did a very specific YouTube search of all Wuthering Waves content within the past a day or two ago, and most of it was trash talk towards the competition. Comparison videos, taking shots at the haters, and how the game can't stop winning and is constantly shocking everybody, etc. I did the same thing for Genshin, specifically focusing on only the videos that had been uploaded in the past day. What I found was an enormous amount of in-game content, be it memes, gameplay footage, guides, reaction videos, original fan-made animations, cosplay, etc. Not once was Wuthering Waves mentioned. Not a single time. I guess I can summarize it like this. Don't take a shot at your competition if you're not willing to take some shots back, because you better not miss. So first and foremost, like I mentioned before on my past videos about the Gacha Revenue webpage, all you have to do is take a look at the person's profile, right? They decided to actually save us that time, and they just put the games that they play right in their flair for the subreddit. So we just know right off of the bat, they are a huge fan of Genshin Impact and ZZZ, right? And so seeing a post like this is genuinely not a surprise. Basically, what they're saying here is, because I saw CCs, because I only looked at CC content that had this kind of topical area, everybody in WuWa deserves to get flamed. That they're basically saying that all of this talk about end of service, all of this talk about games dead, all this talk about devs suck ass, don't know what they're doing when it comes to Kuro games and Wuthering Waves, it's justified because people make comparison videos. People like the game and are talking about what it's doing well. Guys, if you like the game and you talk about what the game does well and you enjoy what the game provides, then you deserve to have your game flamed every single time the revenue report comes out. It's deserved. That's basically what's going on here. And you're going to discover that every single comment, like this has 326 upvotes, right? Well, obviously you have me mentioned here. And then it's just more talking. Lamau, the second coming of Christ. Guys, the second coming of Christ. This is quite literally your words, not mine, right? Like, where did this even come from? What is going on? Typical cult behavior. Guys, you're the one bringing religion into the conversation. And then you guys are following right afterwards saying that it's cult behavior. You guys brought religion into the conversation in the first place. And it's just, they quite literally create these straw man arguments and then just keep circle jerking between each other in the replies. And then just keep upvoting each other. And then this is just the public perception of the game. They literally just make all this shit up, tell people that they have an ego, and then just like go ahead. I mean, sure, yeah, I'm gonna get an ego after this. You're calling me the second coming of Christ, even though no one has ever said something like that. No one has ever said something like that before. Kuro Games never intended for this flinging to happen. Yeah, you guys are making it flinging at this point. Like, if you're perpetuating this narrative and this is like all you guys do on every post, like this is the kind of like stuff that gets upvoted to the top, who is really creating the bad dynamics here? This is absolutely insane. That's why Kuso deserved every single failure and mocking from MiHoYo community in every second. This is the response. Kuro deserved every single failure and mocking. The guy's original point is that he didn't like the content on YouTube. Again, the main point is that this is the type of conversation that gets driven by the revenue chart every single time it drops. There's always talk about solo leveling Arise. Maybe it's justified, maybe it's not. Wait, Reverse 99 made more money than WuWa? This was definitely the last and only free 5-star we ever get. Oh, I don't know about that with the Game Awards. I don't know about that one with the Game Awards, guys. Now that the piñata is irrelevant, the PvP is not as exciting. And obviously, right, the implication here is that Wuthering Waves is the piñata. WuWa has just been nominated for Player's Voice in the Game Awards. Reminder that TGA Player's Voice Awards have 3 rounds of voting, December 2nd, 5th, and December 9th. Please vote for Wuthering Waves. It looks like this is a separate award for just the fan vote.
Let's show this community who's the boss, guys. They mess with the wrong gamers. It's time for them to learn.
Look at this.
Lol, WuWa dropped by half each month. Next month has a free character, so I expect it will not reach 10 million. Absolute theater. Predicted. Anemo or Hydro. So it's money related, so Geo. Literal profit. The downvotes make it funnier. Most people rejected his message.
And it's just like, yeah, guys, it's a free character. That's obvious, right? And then people are just like celebrating, having fun, the Genshin killer. This is the type of conversation. Again, this is the type of conversation that gets spawned. Guys, we just need to cut the revenue in half every single month, and that's gonna be WuWa. And let's do recall, this was the banner with Jeja and free Zhang Yao. Jeja, the most selective sub DPS in the game, who quite literally had one teammate that she was actually decent with. Another limited 5-star, right? Not a high value character for people to pull. And then the other one is a main DPS that people got for free. And so yeah, the expectation is that the banner is not gonna be the best. But hey, end of service, guys. End of service. And I guess we'll go to just one more, right? August. I'm just here to read comments about the other games. That's kind of just indicative of what this was for. This was just an opportunity for people to vent out some kind of anger, some kind of displeasure with something that's going on. Tribalism thing, right? Target other games, talk about those games, and then basically talk shit about those games. And my opinion on gacha tribalism and my opinion on like kind of like holding these intentions is the worse the game that you're currently playing is, the higher the possibility that you're going to be one of these toxic people in the tribalism conversation, right? Because my viewpoint is, when you don't have a lot of fun or engaging things to do in the game that you're playing, all you can think about is all the time that you invested in those games that you're not enjoying, and you've invested so much that you can't leave. And so when you see other games that are doing things better, it's like in your best mental interest to, you know, avoid the whole, you know, sunk cost fallacy of no return, to avoid that. It's basically in your best interest to talk that other game, right? And make it seem worse, as bad as possible. Because otherwise, you'd have to get to the point where you recognize all of the time, money, or perhaps effort that you've wasted. Or maybe not wasted, you probably invested in it earlier and then you enjoyed it. That's all you can think about when you see another game or another competitor coming out that is doing things better, that has better features. There was somebody on the Genshin Twitter, right, talking about how there's no need to ever change the gender of their MC, right? They were like talking about, their charge attack has a slightly different animation. And one person is like has a slightly taller model and different hitbox. And so it would never be possible for the MC to change gender. That would be such a crazy thing for Hoyoverse to do. The way it is right now is perfect, right? And it's just, you start getting into like this bending over backwards, performing mental gymnastics to justify all those previous expenditures, knowing that there is a better option out there. To kind of wrap it all up, I don't think we're going to look at the May one. I think we've seen enough of this. This website is now gone, right? Now a lot of people, right? You're gonna see what the top post here is. Why are we still here? Just to suffer? The real end of service was the PvP itself. This is my favorite comment out of the bunch. This is quite literally my favorite comment out of the bunch. This sub is now useless. And I could not agree more. This sub quite literally has almost no purpose at all. The Gacha revenue report was quite literally one of the only posts in the subreddit that would get above 1K. Everybody here in this subreddit is so busy flaming the games that they don't play. There's just a massive exchange of downvotes going on. And the only time a post is upvoted is when it's like the Gacha revenue report, because that gives everybody like an equal opportunity to flame each other, right? And that's the only one that really gets upvoted. This post obviously didn't get upvoted, right? Because people aren't happy. Let me just see here. Is any post in this sub gonna be above 1K now? No. 697, 152, 296, almost 1K, right? It's a game that's about to release. People haven't played it enough to talk it yet. And I guess this is just like a general meta post. There's just not anything in this subreddit for people to really talk about anymore. This time of the month was really the only time that this community got together, and now there's no reason for it anymore.